Hi everyone. Big Thinny Sad Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, continuing our 2024 list week coverage, where, despite my excitement this year to really get into the best music of the year, because there was quite a bit of that, to be honest, I also have to talk about what I felt was some of the worst music of the year as well, which is why in this video we are doing the top 10 worst songs of the year. Let's go. Okay. Number 10, we are going to do Kanye and Dolla Sign with the big single off of their Vultures 1 album, Carnival, which also features Rich the Kid and Playboi Carti too. Yeah, not only is this song outright trash, but it's kind of bewildering that it got as popular as it did, considering how annoying the group chorus on the instrumental is. You ride dick like a carnival. How mid and unimpressive this instrumental is. Like, it kind of goes to show that as long as you brand something or package something as coming from Kanye, people will literally listen to the same thing they've already heard 30 million times and act excited about it. I mean, as far as songs that go in this direction stylistically, Kanye has made way better stuff in the past because, again, the hook on this thing is just annoying to listen to. I actually don't even want to run through it the first time it plays. I just want to shut this garbage off immediately. The Columbine line in the first verse is awful. Ty's contribution to the track is underwhelming. Then we have Kanye, who is as hypocritical as ever. Like, he's literally complaining about a porn being fed to us as we're children societally, when meanwhile he's literally making one of the most fucking porn-brained songs of his entire career right here. Like, if that's honestly your concern, if that's something you're worried about, you're certainly not helping the cause. And of course, like, per usual, you can't listen to his stuff without having his bullshit shoved down your throat as he's complaining on this track about his kids being in a fake school. When, like, literally there are lawsuits against this man right now about how he made a fake school. He made a fucking fake school. Like, man, I shouldn't have to subject myself to this level of horse shit and gaslighting just to listen to somebody's fucking song. And yet that sort of increasingly is the case with Kanye's stuff these days. Oh yeah, not to mention the awful Playboi Carti feature on the back end of this thing where he's doing his Muppet voice flow. She ride dick like a carnival. Yeah, everything about the song is annoying. If you like it, I feel sorry for you. So yeah, that's number 10. At number 9, we are going to do Quavo and Lenny Kravitz with a Fly. Because, like, yeah, that's societally what we truly need. A low-tier rap remix of Lenny Kravitz's Fly Away. That's essentially what it is. You have some just awful auto-tune vocals, diaper-level bars, bad vocal performance, unimpressive production. Really the only thing that makes it stand out in any way musically or commercially is the fact that you had the Lenny Kravitz sample in there, and that's it. It just kind of goes to show how creatively bankrupt the music industry is these days, that so much of what we hear coming out of major labels on a regular basis is just rehashed stuff that was successful several decades ago. Yeah, culturally, musically, we are really spinning our wheels in the mud, which is why this annoying-ass song landed at number 9. Then we have number 8, that is going to be Meghan Trainor and T-Pain with Been Like This. Yeah, speaking of being creatively bankrupt, Meghan Trainor is essentially writing the same goddamn song she's been writing for the past 10 years, because she's all about that bass and boom boom and etc. Meanwhile, she just has these vocals and vocal harmonies that are auto-tuned to death and sound so soulless and so sterile it might as well be AI. And of course, like, musically and stylistically, she's borrowing so heavily from jazz music. Specifically in this case, stuff that sounds like it would go off in the speakeasy during the Depression. Like, just flappers would be dancing to this and going crazy. You can hear that in the melodies, you can hear that in the harmonies, but simultaneously, it's produced in a way to where it just sounds so alien and so robotic and so weird that, like, any real spice or personality or soul that you might get by virtue of borrowing from these genres is just, like, you know, siphoned out. It's filtered out in whatever garbage process process her and T-Pain went through to create this monstrosity. But yeah, what is so disheartening about this song is that Meghan Trainor cannot seem to grow or evolve or change her style in any way 10 plus years into her career. She's ruining and openly disrespecting perfectly good, classic, amazing, vintage styles of music. And the whole thing just sounds like a very gross shtick and thoughtless formula at this point that we're all moving through without even a care or even a modicum of creative effort. So yeah, that's my number 8. At number 7, we are going to go with Ronnie Radke's Falling in Reverse featuring Tech Nine and Alex Terrible, Ronald. Yeah, this is essentially an over-the-top piece of modern mainstream loud rock trash that is pretty much every single thing an edgy white guy likes in a piece of music. Guitars and drums that are way too loud and compressed to death, generic screamed vocals, white guy rapping fast, more fast rapping. Also a Russian guy who, if you look into his back history on the internet, has a covered up Nazi tattoo on his elbow. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to create a hit song with a certain genre of dumb guy, that is the perfect fucking recipe that you want to be working with. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate to see, with at least some listeners and some artists, metal music reduced down to essentially just be heavy, be fast, and that's it. Like, there's no real brutality or any greater meaning or anything being communicated. It's just very speedy, very aggressive pap. And again, I feel like I've heard this same exact garbage combination before of metal and rap music, and the only difference this time around is that it's engineered in such a way to where it will probably hit for you if you voted for Donald Trump or something. At number 6 on my worst list is going to be miraculously T-Pain again, by virtue of him collaborating with Mark Zuckerberg on this Z-Pain project. I'm sorry, T. It just has to be done. I don't mean to reference you so many times, but yes, him and Mark got together to do a cover of Lil Jon and the East Side Boys' Get Low, which, yeah, there's been a lot of people responding to my negative response to this cover saying like, oh, it's for Mark Zuckerberg's wife. Which, like, okay, if that's the case, export it into an MP3, zip it into some kind of compressed file, send it off to your wife in an email, and leave it at that. Don't make me fucking have to listen to it. Why should the rest of the world have to suffer through what you put your wife through? But on top of that, even if that was the case, I don't want to hear some like internet robber baron oligarch piece of trash do a fucking Lil Jon cover, especially one where his soulless ass NPC sim vocals are singing over terrible acoustic guitar licks and the driest and flattest and most boring production imaginable. I hope T-Pain charged this dude out of the ass to do this terrible cover. But yeah, this is awful. This is a nightmare. Nobody should ever have to suffer through this, which is why I put this at number 6. Nobody also should have to suffer through our number 5 track. That is going to be Facts with Tom MacDonald and Ben Shapiro. You know, I do have to give it to Tom on this track on some level because I didn't think you could make Tom MacDonald rapping any worse, but actually you can by adding Ben Shapiro into the equation. And not only is the instrumental garbage, not only is Ben Shapiro's rap delivery hilarious and awful. It sounds like he's, fucking reading you a bunch of fine text at the end of a radio ad, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, on top of it, the song is loaded, with your average garbage, basic right wing, like, facts don't care about your feelings, BS talking points that you hear on Twitter day in and day out. But like, in addition to that, I feel like both of them had an opportunity here to conceptually dig down into a bunch of things that, I don't know, argue their ideological points, bring facts to the table, as it were, and they don't even do that. I feel like they just titled the song Facts because Ben Shapiro was on the track, and that's it. No real thought went into it beyond that. But yeah, usual boring, soulless, mindless, right-wing red meat Tom MacDonald formula at play here, but with annoying-ass Ben Shapiro on the track. That's essentially what you're getting here. A total nightmare. At number 4, diss tracks have been a hot point of discussion this year in 2024, and what we have here is what personally I feel like has to be the worst one of the year. That would be Bigfoot from Nicki Minaj. Yeah, this song essentially sees her going at Megan Thee Stallion, and what else can I say other than that this diss track is utter garbage, absolute trash. It makes no good, hard-hitting points for the entirety of its runtime, and the whole end of the song is taken up by this, I don't know, whispery series of ASMR threats that Nicki didn't even end up following through on after, you know, sort of this beef with Meghan transpired. Like, it's such an awful, ineffective, not funny, totally limp diss track that Meghan didn't truly bother to respond in a formal or, you know, an expanded way. It's just so funny because Nicki is provably, for this generation, the biggest and most impactful female rapper of all time. And yet you make a diss track that is so awful that your opponent can essentially just like leave you on red and go on about her life with maybe a few subtle jabs here and there. And what is even funnier is that to put Nicki in this position where Meghan has her arm twisted around behind her back, she only needed to say one line. She only needed to drop one Meghan's Law bar, and it totally sent Nicki off the deep end. And Nicki had all the time and all of the resources in the world to actually make a diss track that could have hit, and yet instead we got Bigfoot, where she does not take Meghan down a peg at all, comes with a bunch of stupid schoolyard insults, and can't really seem to pull any files on Meg outside of, like, you know, making claims that she lied about her mom and, you know, was lying about the Tory Lanez stuff, and then later does not go on to do the, you know, expose that she promises she's going to later during the, you know, whispery threats on the end of the track. So yeah, awful, cringe, honestly embarrassing track. I feel like the only thing Nicki can do is just erase this song from the internet in order to save a little bit of face. But there you go. That's number 4. At number 3, this may not be a diss track, but it's certainly a weird way to follow up a diss track. That is going to be Snow Day, Gwan, Delilah, featuring Drake, because yes, this song that really should be forgotten from the internet, honestly, is one of the most disappointing ways to I guess, like, continue on about your life musically after losing one of the biggest rap beefs of all time against Kendrick Lamar, obviously. But yeah, after the Heart Part 6, after Family Matters, it was pretty clear that Drake took the L against Kendrick. The only people who are continuing to live in the delusion that Drake won or really did much of anything are just hardcore Drake stans. And I guess as a means of showing the world that he's not thinking about this at all, when in fact he is, because months down the road he went on to file a lawsuit against UMG. Drake, I guess, like, put out this collab with Snow Day where he is essentially doing a cover of Hey There Delilah from the Plain White T's, but with his crappy fake patois. Oh, Gwan, Delilah. I mean, if it wasn't already annoying enough that he works that into so many freaking tracks where it's totally unnecessary, he's now doing it on, like, one of the laziest, most cheap sounding and stupid covers of a song that we've heard this decade so far. But yeah, awful track, awful cover, totally embarrassing, should be deleted from the internet. We don't need this. What we also didn't need was another weird follow-up post the, you know, whole Drake and Kendrick thing. This one involves J. Cole, though. That would be the Cash Cobain track with J. Cole, Grippy. Yeah, this song is really, truly a weird one. I mean, not only for Cash Cobain, because I feel like he was on sort of a come-up for a moment, and then all of a sudden this track drops, which, you know, you would think for a producer who is, you know, really hot, he'd want that J. Cole feature, he'd want that J. Cole crossover, because that sort of thing is going to expose more people to you. However, if J. Cole handed this to me on my track, I would have to pass, even though it is J. Cole, because what Cole did on this track was that he pulled together a series of bars bars that are so explicitly sexual, but by no means in any way are they actually sexy. They're so repulsive in tone, they have the opposite effect. Like, every time I hear this song, a little part of my soul dies that enjoys sex, and I just never want to have sex again or even think about sex as a concept, especially as J. Cole sort of goes further and further into the track with the same stupid, mind-numbing, uninspired, repetitive flow, talking about how it's grippy over like the most tedious and uninteresting instrumental, giving us bars like, when she see me, she say she gonna strip me, she gonna chew on this stick like it's Wrigley's, believe it or not, like it's Ripley's. She said she was gay until I slayed, now she's strictly dickly. Like, I want to feel like I'm touching your kidneys, like, bitch, I'm gonna send all your kids to Disney. I'm gonna pay a little extra, make sure they meet Mickey. Jesus Christ. This is so gross. This is so cringe. We don't need this. We really didn't need this. How do songs like this pass through, like, the hands and the ears of multiple people and somehow get released? Like, why is nobody along the the chain of supply here saying, like, hold on, pause. We can't put this out. This is garbage. Yeah, I don't know, but we have it, and it's here, and it's my number 2 on this goddamn list. Number 1, though, I'm just going to be blunt. It's going to be David Guetta with OneRepublic. I don't want to wait, which, believe it or not, actually charted very well. Numerous top 10 spots across the globe. That is how popular this track is, and it's got to be one of the most soulless and uninspired and formulaic, little like big, epic EDM, pop, dance songs that I've heard all year, really all decade. And I feel like a track such as this just truly displays how I guess, passion and emotion deficient a lot of our popular music is these days, and how devoid of creativity and originality it is, because not only are we talking about some of the most basic production that you've ever heard in electronic dance music, period, but also on top of it, the main melody of the track is just a fucking rehash of that Ozone song that got popular because it ended up in the goddamn Numa Numa video. Yes, the goddamn Numa Numa song is the inspiration for this soulless hellscape of a piece of music. Like, are we really that out of ideas at this point? Do we have nothing to offer the world? We're spending all of this money on studios and engineering and collaborations and who knows whatever the hell else to make this? Yeah, this is, I'm getting indigestion just thinking of this song, and just again, just how uninspired mainstream and popular music can be on certain levels. In order to have an industry that creates something like this, but also for there to be a demand for this. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. That's my number 1. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what your least favorite or worst singles of the year are. I know you will. Anthony Fantano, worst songs. Transition, have you given any of these tracks a listen? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Over here next to my head is another video to check out. Yeah, thank you for hanging around for our 2024 best and worst of the year coverage. Forever.